Hello.
How do you do? We're about to unfold the story of
The Bride of Frankenstein.
She's alive! Alive!
A monster created from cadavers out of rifled graves. A tale that sent my blood into icy creeps.
Would you like to hear what happened after that?
Well, we've warned you.
Indeed, you have been warned. Welcome back to Frankenstein Minute, the podcast that dissects the Universal Frankenstein film series minute by minute. I'm Thom Lang.
And I'm Bill Evenson, and this is minute 26 of Universal's Bride of Frankenstein. Yep, we're
it is.
Still at Pretorius's house. I have no slowed down dialogue.
Oh,
There's
we're
no
done with that?
backwards or forward. Everything's forward at the correct speed.
All right, we're done with that.
I mean, I could try and slow something down just to see.
Yeah, you know, it might be worth
a shot. It seems to get people's attention.
Get it? Yeah,
we'll
a
just
little
keep
bit.
slowing shit down. That's the way to get the...
Slow stuff
That'll get
down.
those Patreon numbers up.
Yeah, play it all backwards. You know, I think if you play
Redo the whole movie.
if you play this
40%.
minute backwards, it's the Mr. Ed theme.
Ah, see? I knew it. You can kind of tell.
Yeah.
It's recognizable either way.
Definitely.
Male and female created he them.
Be fruitful and multiply.
It's weird to separate these minutes because he says Bible stories, and I've seen this movie a million times.
Yeah.
And Scott McQueen points it out on the commentary. The
That
thing that
he-
stands out is the words Bible stories and the way he says it.
with
and hopefully we talked about that.
Yeah, we
last
did. We
week.
talked about the scorn that he kinda says it with.
So then to separate the minutes like this, now it has a different, and people won't know or care about behind the scenes stuff, but we haven't
It's been
recorded
about
in a while.
month, yeah.
So when I start this minute, now I've lost that, and now all I have is this part, and it seems really odd now that he's using Bible quotes to inspire Henry.
Right. Well, for someone who is clearly an atheist or at best an agnostic, he sure knows his Bible stories. Because he's
true.
able to quote it
He's
off
totally
the cuff.
able to quote it off the top of his head. And it's also weird. He's trying to convince Henry that just the whole conversation is weird because there's a monster on the loose. And he's going to inspire Henry by using these Bible quotes to do something like, who wants this? He wants this.
Pretorius wants this. Henry is
It's evil. It's terrible.
Yeah.
What he wants in this minute, more than any other maybe, it's obvious that what he wants is to just wreak havoc on the world.
pretty much, because he says, create a race, a man-made race upon the face of the earth.
Yeah,
why not?
Why not?
And
Why
I think
not?
there's
Yeah, I think I wrote in my notes, just why not?
there's a half a dozen dead people that might have a good reason why not.
That's a good point.
You know?
Yeah, that's true. I just watched the movie again with Scott McQueen's commentary.
Yeah, I was going to do that. I didn't get time. I just watched it
Yeah.
straight regular.
He mentions in one of the earlier scripts where they go into some detail about there's a dancer that they steal her legs and stuff like that.
Yeah,
there's a little bit more
there's-
detail into how you actually construct a person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think some of that might be in one of the novelizations.
Speaking of the novelization, good segue. My next note is the novelization, and all I just wrote is 1936 novelization because it actually comes from Scott McQueen's commentary. He said, you've read this one.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know if you have anything on this, but this fruitful and multiply, this part is when he mentions that Henry has a more traditional way. I should have looked this up, but I don't have that novelization. So
I guess I should have.
yeah, well, there you go. He doesn't have. He's making a point about Henry being heterosexual and Pretorius being homosexual. That Henry has an option to create people.
Maybe that's where it's from. Because I referenced it a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
That Pretorius says something about I don't have this this option. So
And I didn't see it in the script, so I think it must just be in that novelization.
It might be, or it might have been from an earlier draft. Because sometimes
sure.
novelizations are written before.
Other-
I used to read these novelizations a lot in the
Yep.
70s and 80s. Alan Dean Foster wrote about 80 of them, like once a week. A new
Star
one.
Wars, he wrote.
Yeah, despite it being attributed to George Lucas, who probably didn't write a word of it.
No.
And then Don Bluth wrote Empire Strikes Back one, which is actually really
That's
good,
right.
really well written.
Okay.
But it has, has good source material.
Yeah, true.
But I remember reading like the Ghostbusters one. For whatever reason, I read that. And
That's a hell of a thing to novelize.
It was weird, and there was stuff that was like radically different from the finished film. So So a lot of
Ghostbusters
times.
is so interesting to me in that respect because we have so many Ghostbusters now. They're making another one. They made that other one. There have been cartoons and everything.
Yeah.
But I agree with the Red Letter Media guys on YouTube. I mention them a lot, but I tend to agree with their take on it. This was a movie about a bunch of guys, blue-collar exterminator type guys smoking cigarettes and stuff, with Bill Murray making smart-ass comments that he made up on the set that day. But I could see the novelization would probably explore the mythos of Ghostbusters, the rules of the ghosts and stuff.
It's not nearly as interesting
as
the film because for that very reason.
It's Bill Murray making wisecracks. That's Ghostbusters.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think, wasn't it written for John Belushi or John Candy or something like that?
I want to say John Candy now that you say that, but I'm not sure.
And it ended up being Bill Murray. Yep. Otherwise, I don't think it would have been the success it is because, let's be honest, I mean, Ghostbusters 2 is only watchable because Bill Murray's in it.
I don't know. I tend to look at them as just two parts of a story for some reason. I don't know when this happened because I was alive when they made Ghostbusters and I saw it in the theater.
Were you?
So but it took them like 5 years to make Ghostbusters. It
took a long time, yeah. It was like
but
6
in my
years.
head, it was like it came out 6 months later, and it's the same story, and it's fine, and shut up. I don't know why I had that.
It was 84 and then 90, I think, 89 or 90 when the 2 came out.
Right.
And I don't know, maybe I just had become more cynical in those 4 or 5 years, but...
Oh, you know the logo that's in the corner that you put in of Tom Baker's face?
Yeah.
You know what you're going to have to do now?
Ghostbusters?
The Ghostbusters logo.
Oh, see?
You're going to have to put this guy...
That one. All right.
Contains Ghostbusters. Warning contains Ghostbusters content.
Yep.
You know they novelized all the Doctor Who stories, every single one.
I'm sure
the
they
classic
did.
series.
I'm sure. Anyway, now I got to cut that out.
I suppose so.
What were we talking about?
The 36 novelization. Yeah. But I think we covered it. The point of it is...
Henry can sort of... I don't think he's capable of actually siring
creating a race, a man-made race.
No, I don't think this...
Upon the face of the earth.
This iteration of Henry, I don't think is capable of performing the acts of fathering a child at this point. He's a mess.
Yeah.
He's a wreck. I don't think he would... And we'll find out what the result is, but...
It's an interesting point. I hadn't thought about it quite from that...
And, this film being a film that has a huge gay subtext...
Plus, is his wife even in puberty yet? She's like 14.
Well, she's not able to conceive yet. So
I should have said something younger. I
14.
don't have any daughters.
Yeah, well, I do. And
you don't want to talk about it.
I don't want to talk about it.
Oh, boy.
She just sired an offspring, so...
Oh, man.
I know.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations are in order. And what name did you come up with? Grandpappy?
We're still...
Barsky, I think called you Grandpappy?
Smitty, I think, is what I'm leaning towards.
Smitty?
Yeah.
All right, well, we'll go with that. Okay. Yeah, why not create a man-made race of monsters to terrorize
again,
the
there's a stack of corpses that will probably tell you why not.
Yeah, well, exactly. Actually, the stack of corpses, in my opinion, still hasn't happened. Unless you mean...
Well, I mean...
The stack of corpses you're going to use for parts.
No. I'm talking about Professor Waldman. I'm talking about Fritz.
Waldman I would have killed him too. Fritz, I would have killed him too.
Definitely.
Maria, I would have killed her too.
Really?
I'm totally on board with all these murders. And Hans, his wife.
Yeah, they had it coming.
It's a stack. All right, it's a stack. By the end, we're going to have a stack, so it's really not much of a point to be argued. But the stack is a little smaller in the released version of the film.
It is, yes.
And we'll get to that.
We'll get to that.
No reason to get ahead of ourselves.
And Henry daren't even think of such a thing in the script or outcome. Or no, it's a thing in the movie.
Okay.
Dare not think of such a thing in the movie, and dare not think of such an outcome in the script, which is a weird change.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's any significance to it, or if it was just it flowed better.
I think it flows better for sure.
It flows better for sure, but I don't know if that's why it was changed. If there was some meaning behind it that I'm not seeing.
It is a different meaning to me. I daren't even think of such a thing as vague.
Yeah.
And I daren't even... I'm saying daren't because that's what he says.
That's what he says, yeah.
Think of such an outcome it seems more specific, like he's saying, like he's really paying attention to what's being said. Whereas in the movie, he just seems like, oh, I don't even want to, shut up, and I'm talking about it.
I can't hear
exactly,
you.
Yeah. And by the way, that's Henry in this movie. It's not, we're not getting full Henry. We're not getting
full metal Henry.
No,
we don't.
The 1931 Henry.
We don't, and I don't know if Clive was up to the task of being 31 Henry anymore.
Right. It's kind of weird to see it sort of portrayed here. I think we talked about, obviously, last week. No.
Yeah.
He just doesn't want to be in this movie. I mean, I'm not saying Clive doesn't want to be in the movie, but Henry doesn't want to be in this movie.
Yeah.
He wants to be in a movie where he and his lovely bride,
preteen bride, go off on their honeymoon.
Preteen. Now she's 11.
His Jerry Lee Lewis bride.
Yeah, that's right. It's his cousin, probably.
Oh, it could be.
Actually, well, there you go.
It was in the original,
in the novel.
Yeah.
Right.
Have you read that yet?
Oh yeah, it's great.
Okay. Crickets chirp.
I still haven't read the novelization of this.
Yeah. Okay.
The other thing that's in the script is, now together we will create his mate. You mean, yes, a woman. That should be lots of fun.
Well,
I like this way better.
Yeah.
Yeah, really, because he makes so many words into 6-syllable words, like really.
Really.
Yeah, he makes that about a 12-syllable word.
Yeah, it's I think it's funnier. It's it has a slightly more sinister implication. It should be really interesting. That'll be lots of fun.
Totally true.
Yeah,
it's a little more flippant to say lots of fun. I could see the point of doing it that way because he's saying we're going to create a man-made race to terrorize the world.
Well, he says, that
should be lots of fun.
Upon the face of the earth. Yeah.
Yeah, upon the face of the earth.
Which is an odd thing. Before that, though, before he says that should be really interesting, he said, our mad dream is only half realized.
Right.
So either he's implying that they work together more fully than we think beforehand, before the 31 film starts, or he's really trying to insinuate himself into Henry's world and get Henry into his by saying our mad dream.
I really like that. I think it could be both. I really like the second interpretation. I guess I've assumed when I've thought about that what he's saying there that he means the first interpretation, but I like the second one, which is in keeping with Pretorius obviously taking advantage of Henry being in a weakened state. Being
Henry.
It's our mad dream.
Yeah, come on,
buddy. Come on, man.
Getting the band back together.
Together. Yep.
And as he's saying that, the bride theme starts to come in for the first time. That Bally High bride theme comes in softly in the background. It's one of the reasons that, sorry Dino, but this is such a great score.
Yep.
It plants that seed, other than in the main titles, which is sort of like an overture, but it plants that seed right here that this is her theme, and it comes up again later before she appears.
Yep.
A few times, and I think it's a brilliant score.
I feel, what I think about that is I feel like that's only rewarded. You only get that from repeated viewing. That's like a reward for going to see the movie more than once.
The score?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you wouldn't know that's her theme.
No, it's like watching a show like, say, Arrested Development over again.
Yeah,
after you've been... I don't know if we talked about it on air or just privately, but a friend of mine, Corey, had not seen it. So he was going to watch it all the way through. And I said, well, you'll enjoy it the first time, but if you go back and watch it again, there are things that'll pay off a lot bigger because they plant the seed in episode 3 and it pays off in 12 or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, no, I enjoyed it as, but take the trip again.
And?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think we're going to get through these quickly. We haven't even gotten out of Pretorius. I got a lot of notes left on this.
Yeah, I do too.
All right, so one thing I think is funny is Clive says, you mean, it's like I like I guess this is pre Citizen Kane, but I'm sure other movies you can point to that do this where people actually interrupt each other or actually talk over each other, like our podcast. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's never you mean. Long pause. That's not how people talk. That's not how people talk. I'll allow it here because this movie's just insane and it works for what they're trying to. He wants a pause. Whale wants
that pause.
He might have even artificially extended the pause.
He could have,
purpose,
yeah. You don't really get that overlapping dialogue, even from Howard Hawks to
the 40s.
40s, yeah. His
So
Girl
we're
Friday.
giving this to Wells.
Well, there's a little bit in Bringing Up Baby. I mean, everybody
Okay.
talks so fast in that. Then you get His Girl
Well,
Friday.
Bringing Up Baby is after this, right? It's 38. Okay.
Yeah, maybe Only Angels Have Wings has a little. I don't remember. It's been a long time. Pop it in. It's right there.
I guess yep. I got. Well, it's not under Only, is it? Did they put out a?
They did put out an individual.
See, that's what I don't have. I have it in this thing.
Oh, yeah. No, Criterion
Still
put
haven't
out
seen it either.
Oh,
yeah.
really?
Then why don't I have it?
I don't know.
You're right. Why don't I have that? I must have
thought
it
you
somewhere
did.
else. Maybe I loaned it to Tom.
Oh, it could be. He might
No,
have it.
I don't know. Maybe it's out of order.
Anyway,
Here, it definitely doesn't happen. We're going with long pause, and it is supposed to be dramatic. What
I
he's saying,
think so.
I'm allowing it here, but it's just it's awkward to me. It's just like, come on, this isn't.
yeah,
how
but it's
people
very,
behave.
very 30s type acting and editing.
That's true.
It's not unusual. It's not awkward.
Yeah,
I don't
see what
think
you mean.
it's not a bad edit. It's not a bad job.
But like,
of
if you go
acting.
to a play where someone's supposed to interrupt somebody else, and the person says, "You mean,"
and
and
then
then long
answer.
pause, you're just like, "Oh, come on, can
Yeah.
you jump
You
in?"
need to pick up your line. Yeah.
There's a couple of lines in here that play differently for me because I've seen the movie so many times.
Okay.
One of them is he says, create a race, a man-made race, and he says, why not? And in my head, I picture him saying, it's not very late, right afterwards.
Yeah.
So that would be funny. The other one is where he says, a woman. And in my head, he says, woman, friend for you.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Of course
this
he
is really
does.
stupid shit. There's a harp playing in the background while at the end of this. I'm just pointing it out because it's sort of provides this. I should have written it down.
Yeah.
It provides a sort of a menace to what he's saying. The having just a harp playing in the background.
Well, I think it also ties the bride theme in a little bit to the next scene, which also has a harp as part of it.
That's why I mentioned it.
Okay.
Yes, exactly. The next scene has a harp that sounds completely different.
Yeah, it bridges that from a fairly sinister scene to something that's pastoral. Or
Yeah, well, we're
bucolic.
going there. We're almost there.
We're almost there. We got a little bit yet.
Yep. I just wanted to mention, friend of the show, Dino Stamatopoulos, pointed out on Classic Horror Film Board, because I was talking about that skull cap.
Yeah.
It's the last time we see it, my last chance to mention it. He says, I wonder if Pretorius' skull cap could be a subtle reference to Der Golem and represent a Kabbalistic yarmulke.
Oh, that's interesting.
So I think that's definitely interesting
Yeah.
because you can't separate the Golem from Frankenstein.
Oh, no,
it's
not at all.
absolutely
Yeah,
a huge
it's-
part
yeah.
of everything to do with it.
Right.
The original Jewish
Legend.
legend.
Well, and then the films that Paul Wegener made
And
in
then-
the teens and 20s in Germany.
Exactly.
Certainly, the one that survives, Whale clearly saw, because there are lots of visual cues from that show up here.
It even
More so
sounds
in
like
Frankenstein than in Bride.
Well, I was going to say even more so in the screen test of Lugosi, supposedly.
Apparently, according
That's
to
supposedly-
Chaska's own Edward Van Sloan,
Yep,
yeah,
there you go.
and he would know because he was there.
That's true. He's our expert.
He did, yeah.
Nobody talked to Fry about it.
Well, I don't know, like Fry was Fry part of that?
I thought for sure he was.
Maybe, I don't know.
I guess maybe I don't know.
I don't know. I don't remember now, and
So if
I
people
don't.
don't know
I
what
don't
we're
know the
talking
name
about,
of the
it
actor
might-
who played Henry either.
The guy, I remember the actor that played the monster, though. His name
Yeah,
was
it
Bela
was-
Lugosi. So if people don't know, what we're talking about is originally when they started to make Frankenstein, they did screen test with Lugosi. It was assumed Lugosi was going to be in it.
Well,
There's
it was
an ad in the paper saying he was going to be in
Yeah,
it.
well, it was again the original director Robert Florey, and the story always goes that Lugosi turned it down because there was no dialogue and because of the makeup, blah 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 blah. Well,
Yep.
we kind of know that that's kind of bullshit. And what happened is Junior Lemley wasn't convinced that this was the right path. He was, I don't think, fully on board with Florey to begin with.
Yeah.
And didn't like his script much, but they said, okay, we'll shoot a test and we'll see. And supposedly Lugosi balked at Jack Pierce doing the makeup. He's like, no, I'm a theatrical actor. I do my own. And evidently it was a disaster. Now, I don't know how much truth there is to all that. And, ends up when Whale took over, out went Florey, out went Lugosi.
And in came Pierce,
In came Pierce and in came William Henry Pratt.
who we'll talk about shortly.
Momentarily.
Momentarily, I'll have some things to say about him.
If you remember remember he is in this film.
I know, exactly. It's been a while.
It's been
but
like-
yes, very, very shortly we'll be talking about him. There is a cutscene
Yes.
of a servant opening the
Yeah,
door.
the scene continues beyond him saying, that should be really interesting.
Well,
but
lots of
stupid."
fun in the script.
Lots
but
of
yeah,
fun. Yeah. It goes on. A servant, is listening at the door. It's not identified. Is it Carl? Is it Rudy? Is it Ludwig? It's unclear.
Yep.
Doesn't matter because it's gone. I don't even know if they shot it, but probably there was a lot of stuff shot that was thrown out for this.
Okay.
Because I think original preview length was like 98 minutes, so it was almost as long as Sun.
Yeah, this script book full of pictures of scenes
cut
that we know
scenes,
are
yeah.
cut. Yeah.
Parts that were cut out.
I don't know about this one. I guess I wouldn't know.
I don't know. It doesn't really seem to add anything.
Yeah.
What happens is, the servant is at the door. He peeks in, sees the homunculi on the table in their jars, starts to spaz. Pretorius covers it up quickly, runs over and starts berating him, calling him, "You hangman's fodder," which is a great line. It's unfortunate that never made it into
That's
the
pretty
film
good.
in a different setting.
Yeah, that phrase.
Yeah, because it's a great phrase. And it causes the...
So fodder for a hangman means somebody who's convicted of murder, presumably, and
basically.
sentenced to be hanged.
Well, and that will come back later in about 20 minutes to half hour of who might have said that because it comes up again.
Okay. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. Pretorius yells at him and he, quote, rushes away screaming, which would have been...
Like Minnie.
Yeah.
Could have been.
Just dub that in over
maybe,
Fry
yeah.
or
But
Fitzgerald
something,
or whoever
absolutely
was
could have been something over the top like that. For
Oh,
sure.
it could have, and that very well could be why it's not here anymore.
Yeah, that could be. That's a good
which
point.
is just fine. He runs to his basement hovel and wakes his sleeping roommate and goes on and on about, oh, he's the devil, he's got blah, 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 blah. He ought to be burnt at the stake. And the roommate, who couldn't be bothered with any of it, says, oh, go and bury your grandmother, which is a really strange line.
Well, if he's hangman's fodder,
Maybe he killed
meaning
his
he's been convicted of murder,
murdering his grandmother.
maybe he murdered his grandmother.
And she's still sitting around. Are you gonna
She's
you gonna
still
bury
sitting
that
around.
fucking thing or not?
It's sitting there in the house.
It's been here for weeks.
All right, so
And there's a nice
I think that's
crossfade.
everything I have.
For the whole minute?
No,
Oh,
no.
okay.
I was just gonna say, then we leave this, so then we fade out.
Fade out. It
So
fades
the
out on
cabinet
the
of Dr.
close-up
Caligari
is over.
fades out, and we fade into. I wrote here Bambi. It isn't quite like
It's
that.
not quite,
but
but
it's like it's completely
this-
unreal looking.
This is a very stylized set
Yeah,
to look
there's
as
They must have had all the fans. There's wind
wind.
blowing every
yeah, I
tree.
imagine how
and
loud that
it's-
might have been, but none of it picks up on the soundtrack.
No, but there isn't a lot going on in the soundtrack either. I'm sure they could have overdubbed all of
That's very possible. You
Whatever.
hear some sheep's bleating and birds chirping.
There's
nice
that-
harp.
The harp is back, a little
But
bit
it's
slower and
softer.
friendlier harp.
This is very...
And is that the flute that's doing the?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
just over the top
well, and
friendliness and
it
serenity.
incorporates the monster's little 5-note theme in it, but in a much more light-hearted way.
He is happy.
He's actually having a moment of peace.
Thing is, he ain't really. He's not like, you don't see him playing or anything.
enjoying. The monster in the novel does. He enjoys nature. He befriends animals and things like that.
Yeah.
In his
I guess we'll see
two-year
over the next.
span of being set loose.
Yeah.
And we'll see a little bit of that.
Yeah.
It's like the sheep that he walks through. They're not really afraid of him.
That's true. It's fine, but the music kind of is. This is where I kind of think the music takes it up a little bit
too
higher
much?
than what we actually see on screen. I don't get the impression that the monster. He's stumbling. He's a stumbling brute. You know what I mean? He's picking up.
I would not say the word brute, but yeah, he is stumbling. He's stumbling through eating a carrot.
He's eating a carrot, which is so weird because I never noticed when the scene opens up. Well, there's a scene. It looks like he picks a carrot out of the ground, but when the scene opens up, he's already got the carrot in his hand. So does he just grab another carrot? Maybe I don't know. The other funny thing to me is through this minute, you can see he doesn't swallow anything. All the pieces of carrot just go flying out of his mouth.
Well,
it's like an actor's trick to make sure you don't have to eat 35 carrots.
Which brings us around to today is Bugs Bunny's 80th birthday.
You're kidding. What
I
do you
am
mean
not
today?
kidding.
Today when the episode
Today
airs?
is today when we're recording.
Oh, okay.
June 27th.
Okay.
2020 is 80 years to the day for the release of A Wild Hare, which is considered the first official Bugs Bunny cartoon.
And why is that considered the first official? Is he called that? Or
I think
is he
so.
gray?
I think he
or
was.
does
And
look
he
kind
looks and behaves much more.
because there was a rabbit before
There
that.
was a rabbit before. It was Chuck Jones, I believe.
Might have even
said.
had a different name, or did I make that up?
They didn't really have a name. It was a Happy Rabbit was one thing. But Chuck Jones always said, well, we just put a rabbit suit on the duck, basically. And then this is where he developed the smart-ass, unflappable sort of personality. I mean, it's still embryonic, but you can see this is Bugs Bunny. Anyway.
Happy birthday, Bugs Bunny.
Yes. Mel Blanc could not stand carrots, and apparently they made his throat seize up.
Interesting.
So they tried all kinds of different vegetables for that right sound. Nothing quite had the same snap to it. So they kept a bucket next to him, and he would chew it, say the line, and immediately spit it out.
Not at all unlike Boris Karloff
That's
in this minute. Perfect reference.
There we go. That's
I like it.
Yep.
Okay, so script says that this scene takes place in the foothills of the Jura Mountains.
Yes.
According to Wikipedia, the Jura Mountains are a subalpine mountain range, mainly following the course of the France-Switzerland border.
Yep.
But the Schwäbischer Jura is a mountain range in Baden-Württemberg, Germany. So the Jura is
it's a big,
vague.
long,
It's because when I first looked, I'm like, Jura Mountains, are we going to get a location now? Is this going to specify what location this takes place
not
in?
Really.
Not really. I'm guessing it's not France.
Yeah.
That's my guess. We're not on the French side of the Jura.
Well,
also,
like in
the
the
script
first,
is also not canonical to me. The movie is canon.
The movie is, yeah. It's like in the first film, the script refers to the mountain that the watchtower is on as being the Weisenberg. Which,
you said that.
Yeah,
That's right.
which is a real mountain, which does have a watchtower on the top of it.
Yep.
But that was all cut out, I think, on purpose by Whale to give it sort of this nebulous other world. You know, it's not taking place in a specific place at a specific time.
And you think that's deliberate?
Oh yes, absolutely.
Makes sense. I think we'll talk about this, especially when we get to the electric machine or whatever.
Well, that and by the time we get into the 40s, it's definitely on purpose.
The 40s.
40s movies.
Okay.
We get into the Ghost because those were made during World War II, and there is no reference to the war taking place at all.
Well, that's true. Yeah, it's not like Sherlock Holmes, what they were making at the same time.
Thank goodness, because boy, those ones where Sherlock Holmes fights the Nazis, I'll tap out of those.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
I think that's it. I think that's where, because you already talked about the carrot.
Yeah, he just comes upon the waterfall with a stream below it, goes through the flock of sheep, which look, they're not bothered by him, but they kind of scatter just to get out of his way.
Yep, and you can hear did they have bells on? Is that what that clanking is? Okay.
Then he lies down and is going to take a drink of water and wash himself off, I think.
I think so.
In the next minute, we'll find out.
Well, look forward to that next week.
Yes. Anything else you want to add, or?
Well, I mean, I think we have enough Patreons now, so we don't
ever need any more.
So please don't. Whatever you do, don't go to patreon.com/Frankenstein Minute and pledge, because then we'll have to lose a person. We've hit our max.
I'm afraid that someone is actually going to take
some people are going to drop
your word and like, oh well, they don't need my $2 then. No,
but you do get. I mean, I guess if someone really wanted to do that for their $2 a month, they would get every episode a day early on Frankenstein Thursday.
Yes.
I don't know if we've said that before.
No, that's a brand new one on me.
And then, of course, there's all our bonus content, which we sporadically put out when we feel like it.
Yeah, we actually just talked about this morning about an idea for one. So
that's true, and dismissed one of our earlier ones.
Yes,
so there you go.
Those of you holding out for the Halloween H2O commentary, not ever going to happen.
Yep.
That'll come out on the anthology CD that we put out 40 years after the fact.
Oh man, what would a CD look like in 40 years?
I don't even know if there'll be such a thing.
No,
there might not be such a thing in 4 years. Who even knows?
Yep. Well, they still have vinyl, so I assume.
Yeah. I guess.
Grandpas like us.
Actually, the vinyl is the kids like the vinyl.
It's true. That's a good
hipsters
point.
Hipsters and the millennials like the vinyl.
Yeah, Jackie's nephew likes vinyl.
Oh,
He's collecting vinyl.
My son
and I'm tempted to give him all of mine. What am I going to do with it?
Yeah, well, my son took a bunch of mine.
Okay.
Which is fine, because I have something to play it on, but I'm not going to... Why am I going to set that up and go through the trouble when I can just,
You know who we just lost? Dino.
We probably might have.
Got a jukebox.
I don't get me wrong. I'm keeping all of it.
Okay.
But
all right, good.
it's just...
Got dicey
it's
there.
much more convenient.
I like the album covers myself. To me, that's
I do.
a big
the artwork,
part of what it was.
Yeah.
Like, I could do without sticks. I don't ever have to hear sticks dicks again. But when in the 70s, I bought them all because they were
Yeah.
you open up this
Oh,
big,
yeah.
you know.
Yeah, I've still got my Sgt. Pepper from the 60s.
Yeah, there you go. Sure.
I've got a Let It Be with the box with the book, White Album with the embossed cover, not the printed cover, and it's got
And the number?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you remember
I
the
don't
number?
remember the number.
Do you have any
It's pretty
guess?
high.
Pretty
No,
high.
It's pretty high. I don't remember.
Remember a couple of years ago they sold like number 2 or something.
Yeah, it was sold for
Like
a
Ringo's. Well, he would be number 4, I guess.
gajillion dollars. Yeah, number 2.
Ringo definitely gets number. Ringo's lucky to get number 4.
He's after George Martin, Jeff Emmerich, all
Yeah.
these guys. Yeah.
Let's see. Let's see. What did you write? Don't pass me by. Yeah, you can have number 11.